In late summer 2025, a familiar fear swept across the Pacific Northwest. A gray plume rose from Mount St. Helens, freezing time for a moment. Memories of the 1980 eruption surged back. Stories, photos, and the raw power of the mountain. Was the giant waking up? Ash in the air is a stark reminder of nature's force. News spread fast. Pilots reported ash clouds. Social media buzzed with anxious photos. For many, it was their first time seeing the mountain angry. For others, it was a chilling echo of 1980. Mount St. Helens was back in the spotlight, forcing a new generation to confront life in the shadow of a volcano. But this wasn't a story of new fire. It was about the mountain's enduring legacy. Understanding what happened means looking to science, listening to experts, and separating illusion from reality. A plume signals eruption in our minds. But is that always true? The event became a teachable moment. Scientists stepped in to explain, reassure, and remind everyone of the landscape's true nature. The mountain's power is not forgotten. Even a ghostly whisper from its crater commands respect. To grasp the fear a simple ash cloud can spark, we must revisit spring 1980. Mount St. Helens stirred for months. Earthquakes, steam, and a growing bulge on its north flank. On May 18th, a massive earthquake triggered the largest landslide in recorded history. The north face collapsed, releasing a colossal lateral blast. Hot gas, ash and rock flattened 230 square miles. Ash soared 16 miles high, turning day to night across Washington. 57 lives were lost, including volcanologist David Johnston, whose final words were, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it." Homes, bridges, and forests were destroyed. Rivers choked with mudflows. The eruption was the deadliest and most costly in U.S. history. Ash clogged engines, damaged buildings, and threatened health for months. For the Northwest, 1980 is not just history, it's a living memory. That's why any sign of activity at Mount St. Helens is taken seriously. Fast forward to September 2025, the ash plumes weren't from a new eruption. The real culprit? Weather. An unusually dry spell left old 1980 ash loose and powdery. Strong winds swept across the crater, lifting ash into the air, a phenomenon called ash resuspension. The scene mimicked a real eruption, but it was just a perfect storm of dry ground and high winds. Scientists at the USGS and National Weather Service quickly checked their instruments. No earthquakes, no ground swelling, no volcanic gases. The mountain was quiet. Officials clarified, this was old ash, not a new threat. The event was dramatic, but entirely atmospheric. It was a ghost of 1980, stirred by the wind, a reminder that the mountain's legacy lingers in the landscape. Sometimes all it takes is a gust to awaken the past. The giant sleeps, but its breath can still be seen on the breeze. Scientists never let their guard down at Mount St. Helens. They use a network of seismometers to detect even the faintest tremors, early signs of magma movement. GPS stations and satellite radar track ground swelling, a warning sign seen before the 1980 eruption. Gas sensors sniff for sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. Spikes mean magma is rising. Thermal cameras and satellites watch for hot spots. In September 2025, all readings were normal. No signs of unrest. By combining seismic, deformation, gas, and thermal data, scientists get a full picture of the volcano's health. This constant surveillance lets them distinguish between a windy day and a real warning. Their vigilance keeps the public safe. The mountain is always watched, even when it's quiet. When dramatic images of ash appeared, the USGS acted fast. They confirmed, no earthquakes, no swelling, no gas changes. Mount St. Helens was quiet. The volcano's alert level stayed at normal, the lowest on the scale. The aviation color code was green, no threat to aircraft. These color-coded alerts make the volcano's status clear at a glance. USGS and the National Weather Service shared simple, direct explanations. High winds, dry ash, no eruption. Their communication calmed fears and replaced panic with understanding. In an age of misinformation, listening to experts is crucial. The verdict was unanimous. The ash was just a memory, not a menace. Green means go. No imminent threat. Even decades-old ash can be dangerous. Volcanic ash is sharp, gritty, and hazardous to breathe, especially for those with respiratory issues. It's also a threat to machinery. Jet engines can stall if ash melts and fuses inside. That's why pilots reported the plumes immediately. On the ground, ash can clog air filters, damage electronics, and, when wet, become dangerously heavy. The September event didn't cause widespread damage, but it was a reminder. Volcanic materials can disrupt lives long after an eruption. Warnings focused on the ash itself, not eruption risk. People were advised to stay indoors if dust was visible. The lesson: the end of an eruption isn't the end of its impact. Old ash can be reawakened by weather, posing risks to health and technology. The mountain's legacy is more than just memories. It's physical, persistent, and real. The recent Mount St. Helens event was a lesson in separating fear from fact. A plume triggers instinctive fear, eruption, danger. But sometimes, it's just weather. The key is seeking facts from reliable sources. Scientists had the data: no earthquakes, no swelling, no volcanic gases. The reality was simple: strong winds, old ash, no eruption. Trusting experts helps us pause, question, and understand what we see. Think of it like hearing a loud bang at night. Fear first, but facts reveal it's just a car backfiring. The ash plumes were alarming, but not a sign of disaster. Learning to separate fear from fact is vital for living with natural hazards. It lets us respect danger without living in fear. The 2025 ash event was a low-stakes chance to practice this skill. Not every alarming sight is a catastrophe. Science gives us the tools to tell the difference. The story of Mount St. Helens in 2025 is about our relationship with nature. Living near an active volcano means balancing respect with readiness. Respect comes from knowing the mountain's history. Readiness comes from listening to scientists and having a plan. The ash event was an unplanned drill, testing communication, monitoring, and public response. It showed our awareness and scientific capabilities have grown. Preparedness means having an emergency kit, knowing evacuation routes, and teaching children the science behind the mountain. Trusting official sources and avoiding rumors is key. Being prepared isn't expecting disaster, it's peace of mind. Mount St. Helens will erupt again someday, but we are not powerless. We are watching, learning, and ready. The ghostly plumes were a reminder. The mountain is still here. Our calm, informed response is our answer. We respect its power, appreciate its beauty, and are ready to coexist with this sleeping giant.